These 3 customer PS3s all have issues. 2 of these customer send-ins have yellow light of death, and 1 has green light of death. How many of these PS3s can I save? What issues will arise when trying to fix them? And what horrors lurk in each of these consoles? Let's just see if these PS3s can be revived. Here I have 3 40nm RSX GPUs ready to be reballed. I have a feeling all these consoles are going to need a GPU swap. If you guys are new to this channel and want more info about PS3 repair, I suggest you watch my What is a Frankie video for more detailed information. Right now, we're clearing pads under the 40nm RSX so we can reball it and get it ready just in case. These consoles usually have bad 90nm GPUs, so I would not be surprised if I use them all in this video. Moving on. We're starting with customer PS3 number 1. This one has an instant yellow light of death, so it's most likely going to be GPU or PSU related. But to make sure, we're going to be hooking up to Syscon to look at the Syscon error log. Right here I'm accessing Syscon to read error codes and get an idea of what it could be. After getting the error logs, I can see straight away we have error codes 3034, which means this GPU has failed. Now that I have confirmation, I'll program Syscon with a 40nm address data. Man, this thing only failed after 150 days. Get this 90nm off of here. After we finish this DLOD, we'll bake and put this board on our station and remove this 90nm. This board seems to have never been touched, so I'm confident I can fix this one. And I'm really hoping that all these consoles can be repaired. But we'll have to see if we can get them all functional. Now at 20x speed, you can see the flux going under the chip, which will help melt the solder. Once the unleaded solder is melted, that's when we pull the 90nm RSX off the board. When we get up to temp, I nudge the side of the RSX to confirm the unleaded solder is melted. Alright, looks good. And just like that, it comes off clean with no issues. Now we'll quickly clean the pads on the board and replace it with a 40nm RSX. Let's apply flux on the bottom of the 40nm RSX and solder it on. After lining this RSX up with the pads, we'll wait for the solder to melt. We can see that the RSX sets down as we reach temperature. After we see this, we'll nudge the side of the RSX to confirm a very good connection. Now that we have let this board cool, we need to do the resistor mod. And we don't need to go back into Syscon because we programmed it earlier with 40nm data. Now let's get the thing back together, just to test its functionality. Alright, let's see if this RSX worked. And look at that! No yellow light of death. Let's see if it displays now. Yup, looking good so far. Let's harvest components for the voltage mod and get these installed. And yes, these components are tiny. I'm harvesting the resistors in the controller from a donor board. This setup will achieve around 0.95 volts. We're reducing the voltage of VDDR from 1.2 volt to 0.95 to increase the lifespan of our 40nm RSX. We could leave it at 1.2 and it'd still work, but the 40nm RSX wouldn't last as long. And the whole point of this is to increase the lifespan of the console. And it looks like it works. The customer did not want NECs replaced, so on to the next one. This PS3 has green light of death. I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's the RSX. Let's get this thing open. Bruh. Why did people do this coin mod? I really don't understand. Hopefully this cell is fine. And they did it on the cell too. Nice. These coin mods seem to be big in Japan, which is where the PS3 is from, seeing as it's an AOO. And it's a Sony Frankie. Why would you do this? Look at the cell. Cell looks like a complete disaster. What is this black gunk? I really hope this wasn't a failed DLOD. Okay, so after cleaning the black gunk off, I see no deep scratches. So the cell looks fine. A lot of the times, these Sony Frankies have horrid BGA rework. It's mostly horrid because they leave flux. On the bright side, we'll only need to reball this if the BGA is at fault, which it most likely is. I've had Sony Frankies in the past with the same exact issue, mostly stemming from a bad connection due to the BGA. My other Sony Frankies only needed a reball, but this is exactly why I use my ultrasonic cleaner to get rid of the flux underneath the chip. Let's check syscon logs and see if any errors have been reported. Right away, we have errors that point to early on green light of death. We also see 1001 errors, which leads me to believe that NECs are starting to go bad. I did have a yellow light of death on shutdown, so cell side NECs are for sure starting to go bad. What I'm thinking is we're going to just take this off, reball it, and put it back on. If that works, then I'll refund the customer for the cost of the RSX, which I think is fair. And after the reball, it's working fine now. I'll have to further test this though. I want to make sure the RSX is good to go. We don't even have to install the voltage or resistor mod. Seeing as Sony's already done this with the console, I'll refund the customer for the RSX in labor. I think it's only fair. Look at this beast. If that isn't drop damage, I don't know what is. And yes, those PS3s in the beginning of the video were props, not the actual customer PS3s. What do you think? Anyways, that destroyed front of the case leads me to believe that the BGA could be bad. Getting inside, we see the ZSSR power supply, which goes bad a lot of the times. I'm going to swap this out just to check if it's causing the yellow light of death. And nope. The power supply rules out. Let's crack this thing open and see what could be wrong. Okay, well, that makes sense. Another yellow light of death caused by an RSX. But check this out. This thing only lasted for 7 days. Imagine getting a PS3 back in 2006 and it having lasted 7 days. Goes to show you the power of the 90nm. On the bright side, this should be an easy fix. After a quick clean and a D-lid, all I'll need to do is swap the RSX and it should be good to go. Time to take the 90 off. Hopefully this will last more than 7 days. Ah, so satisfying. I'll throw this sucker in the pile of 90s. The 40nm is setting down now. I'll poke the side of it and I'll be good to go. After cooling, I'll clean the dies and test the final Frankie. And look at that, seems to be working. Thankfully, it was not on a lower firmware version. That would have been a whole can of snakes. Finally, we'll do the voltage mod and it should be good to go like the others. We got all 3 consoles working. What a successful video. If you guys want to service your yellow light of death console, you can contact us on our website, consolecane.net. You can give us more information about your PS3 through our email, and we'll be happy to assist. And if you guys would like your console shown in our videos, just let us know, and we'll be happy to do it.